It's time to visit the Miskatonic Museum. Welcome back to another episode of the Arkham Horror Card Game, our Dunwich Legacy playthrough for the very first time. Big thanks to everyone who's checked out the previous episodes and checked out my other videos. Really do thank you so much for that. And yeah, let's just jump right in. I want to keep the pace of this video up. We're just going to dive right in and get going. First things first, we do got to talk about the deck upgrades I did in the previous session, or between the previous session and today's. So we had 4 experience at the end of last session. Last session was so much better than the first one, so hopefully that goes the same for this one. For Monterey Jack, I ended up spending 4 experience on 2 copies of Aeon Chart and 2 copies of Forewarned. Aeon Chart is one of the multi-class cards, and I thought it might be pretty useful for him to be able to just get some extra actions or free actions out of a select few. Plus being able to just evade for free or, investigate for free is pretty nice, since he is mainly going to be used for our interrogation stuff. And then, of course, judging how the first session went, I figured since he's going to be the main clue getter, 2 copies for Warned will hopefully help him combat some of the bad things in the encounter deck. So we'll see if that is going to be useful for him, hopefully, because boy oh boy, his willpower is awful. As for Jacqueline, we got the second copy of Song of the Dead. Now we're fully stocked with the 6 spells that can fight, so we're ready to deal with anything bad that comes our way. We have a full play set of these now because the second copy is already in our deck. And then we got 2 copies of Occult Theory, which I think she just does well with just boosting more stats, but considering her willpower stat and her intellect stat are actually pretty decent on both sides. Of course, her willpower is 5, really, really good, and their intellect's 3, which is still decent. I figured this is a good card to just help with either of those types of tests, whether she needs to just use her willpower to fight for a really bad thing, or to just use it to potentially get an investigation off that's needed. So yeah, I thought those were good. And yeah, we also saved Henry Armitage at the end since we didn't end up unconscious at any point in this in the campaign. We were able to get to Henry Armitage in time, and so he is currently in Monterey Jack's deck. Hopefully able to just turn unnecessary cards, and I don't know if it works with his weakness, but unnecessary cards into resources effectively. But let us read the intro for Scenario 2, the Miskatonic Museum. Several months ago, Armitage and his colleagues stopped a rampaging horror from tearing through Dunwich, a backwater town several hours north and west of Arkham. At first you imagine this beast as a rabid bear, or worse, but the professor's description of the creature paints a different picture. It all began when a man named Wilbur Whately entered the Orne Library looking for Olus Wormius's Latin translation of a book called the Necronomicon. I am familiar with that book in other cultures, in other pulp culture movies and stuff. Wilbur already possessed a beaten-up English translation by Dr. John Dee, but it was insufficient for his purposes. Armitage turned the man away, fearing what use the strange man had for the book. Whately returned in secret, hoping to steal the book, but was attacked by a hound guarding the university. Armitage, Rice, and Morgan later discovered Whately's body, a description of the foul corpse, semi-anthropomorphic and covered in fur with a leathery hide and greenish-gray tentacles. Causes you to question whether or not Whately was truly human. So you have to check the campaign log if Dr. Henry Armitage was kidnapped. He was not. We got there in time. So we need to skip to part 2. He says, "My colleagues and I were quick to put the ordeal behind us," Armitage says with a sigh, "but it seems that things haven't fully resolved themselves. I'll tell you the rest later, but for now it is imperative that we get our hands on that copy of the Necronomicon. If my instincts are correct, the assailants you've encountered will be searching for it. After all that transpired, I didn't feel safe keeping it at the library, so I brought it to my good friend Harold Walstead. He is the current curator of the Miskatonic Museum. I thought it would be safe at the museum's restricted hall, but now I'm not so sure. You must retrieve it at all costs. I fear terribly what they could do with the rites contained in its passages." So we have the game all set up currently. Let's check out the agenda card. So for Agenda 1A, we have restricted access. Dr. Armitage has given the university's Latin translation of the Necronomicon to his associate, Harold Walstead, the curator for the Miskatonic University Museum. Worried that someone might be after the book, you have gone to the museum to recover it. 5 Doom Threshold, and as a forced action, when Hunting Horror enters play, attach the set-aside copy of Shadow Spawn to it, or add 1 resource to Shadow Spawn if already attached. So it's not really looking forward to that. So I'm sure we'll see what that Hunting Horror is going to be like. And for our Act 1 card, we have Finding a Way Inside. Unfortunately, the entrance to the museum is kept locked at this late hour. A security guard is visible through the building's front windows, oblivious to his surroundings. Perhaps you can find a way to get his attention to convince him to let you in. And we currently have 2 clues we need for that to happen. I'm guessing there's going to be 2 clues on here. So let us shuffle our experienced cards back into our decks, and I'll draw the opening hands, and we'll get this show on the road. All right, we got our opening hands. Also, forgot to mention, Jacqueline Fine is going to be our lead investigator for this scenario. I'm just going to swap back and forth, and in between each scenario, we'll just swap who the lead investigator is. And let's check out the museum entrance here. So, museum entrance has 2 clues on it, as I suspected. It's 3 shroud level. Investigators at the museum entrance cannot gain resources. That's unfortunate. We can also, of course, as most campaign or most scenarios have, you can resign at the entrance location. But let's hope it doesn't come down to that. But we'll see. As for our opening hands, Monterey Jack ends up getting Leo DeLuca, Lone Wolf, Hiking Boots, Lockpicks, and his weakness, which we'll set aside and draw a new one because you don't get it in your opening hand, thankfully. We got Emergency Cash. That is actually a pretty much perfect hand. I don't think there's anything I need to get rid of. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Fortunately, we don't have all the resources to play everything, but we got sort of everything that we want, I think, to get going. Alright, so let us shuffle back in our weakness. Jacqueline Fine. I guess we're going to be looking for something that we can fight with early on, because she is our main fighter. So Jacqueline Fine gets Shriveling. Talk about fight spell. Emergency Cash, Familiar Spirit, Blinding Light, and Emergency Cash again. I don't think I need 2 Emergency Caches. Plus, we can't gain resources here anyways. I guess that would have been a argument to mulligan the Emergency Cash for Monterey Jack too, but hopefully we can just get out of here in the first turn. I don't think we need the blinding right now. I think we will get rid of maybe both Emergency Caches as well. I don't think she needs them as much, and I think I'd rather just look for maybe Investigation spell, because we have Familiar Spirit, so we can get 2 spells into play. So let's draw a Rite of Seeking. There we go. We got another Shriveling, and Robes of Endless Night. Sounds good. So Robes of Endless Night will not only give us health, but Robes will also help with just getting these spells out a lot quicker. So let's shuffle these other cards back into the deck, and we will start our journey into the Miskatonic Museum. Again, hopefully just getting these clues. 3 shroud levels, a little bit rough, but I think we'll just get lockpicks into play right off the bat, and maybe just even get Rite of Seeking. So let's see, who do we want to go first? I really want to get Leo DeLuca into play, but I also want to get my lockpicks into play. Unfortunately, we can't play Emergency Cash to make that happen. So I think first things first, we're just going to try to get these clues out of the way. Oh, actually, let's use Jacqueline, because Jacqueline's Rite of Seeking can get an additional clue, so she can get these clues with 1 action. So I think we're going to spend all 5 resources to get Rite of Seeking into play, as well as our Familiar Spirit. So Rite of Seeking is going to be coming in with 3 charges. So we'll do that there, and then we're just going to use one of those charges right away and investigate with our last action, and using our willpower instead of our intellect. So it's going to be 5 to 3. Cultist symbols. -1. If you fail, search the encounter deck discard pile and the void for the hunting horror and spawn it at your location. Well, it's a really good thing we succeeded there, and because we succeeded, Rite of Seeking gets us an additional clue, so we got the 2 clues right away. Let us go forward with the act and see where we see what happens. Not a bad first turn. If the investigator spent clues to advance... we could have also broke into the museum halls. It's locked, but we'd have to do a Might 5 check, which is going to be literally impossible for pretty much both of our characters. But we use clues to advance. You find the window nearest to the guard and tap it loud enough to get his attention. He gives a startled jump, then shifts open the window. What do you want? He asks timidly. You explain the situation to him and tell him he's in grave danger. He warily opens the front door to the museum, shaking his head. I wasn't even supposed to be here today. Choose an investigator to take control of the set-aside Adam Lynch asset. Reveal the museum halls, advance to Act 2, Night at the Museum. Night at the Museum. The Necronomicon is being kept in a restricted hall somewhere in the museum. Adam barely knows his way around and gives a startled jump at every creak of the old building. I just started here last week, he explains. What sort of trouble did you say was going on? You haven't the heart to tell him the full story. Our objective is to enter the exhibit hall that's called Restricted Hall to advance. So there's no clues we have to get there, but I'm guessing we have to get clues to... Because there's an exhibit hall deck, And the way that it was set up is I know the restricted hall is in the bottom 3 somewhere randomly shuffled, and then there was 3 other exhibit halls on top of that, so we're gonna have to get through quite a few of those first things first. But now we get to reveal the museum halls, and we also get Adam Lynch. So Adam Lynch is an ally asset, but doesn't take up an ally slot, which is nice. Has 1/1 health, and while you control Adam Lynch, treat the security office, which is over here. The action in it is only considered to cost 1 action instead of 2 actions, but when he leaves play, we have to shuffle the tablet token into the chaos bag for the remainder of the campaign. So we're going to try to really protect Adam Lynch. Question is, who is best to use it? I mean, Monterey Jack's about to go, and Jacqueline's going to be fighting more enemies, and if they end up potentially killing Adam Lynch, we don't want that, so maybe we'll give it to Monterey Jack. I don't know if that's correct, but we're going to go with it. As for Museum Halls, there's no clues on it. It's Shroud Level 2, and it's connected to each copy of Exhibit Hall, and as a group, investigators in the Museum Hall can spend 2 clues, 1 clue per investigator, to draw the top card of the exhibit deck and put it into play. So there's where we're going to sink our clues. All right, but now we have Monterey Jack's turn. So we're going to move once into here as 1 action. I'm going to spend... Yeah, let's just get Leo DeLuca into play. So I'm going to spend emergency cash to get 3 resources, going up to 8. Immediately spending 6 of those. So going to 2 to get Leo DeLuca into play, which will essentially refund an action. So we move, played, but Leo gives an additional action. So we have 1 more left. And I think we'll just get hiking boots into play as well with our last... Yeah. It's either that or a Lone Wolf. You know, let's start getting some more resources into play. Let's get Lone Wolf into play. So we're going to spend 1 as our last action to play Lone Wolf, because we're going to get a resource back as well. Potentially. Alright, there's no enemies, so upkeep phase. I will... well, Jacqueline can't get a resource, but she can draw a card. Draws an emergency cash. Alright, at least we can move out of there next turn. And then Monterey Jack's going to get a resource. Also at the end of his turn, because he moved 1 space away from his starting location, we can choose to draw a card or gain a resource. I think I'm going to get a resource because we already have 2 cards we really want to get into play. So we'll get 1 resource for that, and we'll go up to 3 as our upkeep, and then draw a card. We got pickpocketing. All right, we're getting a lot of good assets early on, so hopefully we can get that stuff into play before bad things show up. Alrighty, so let's get a Doom 1 out of 5 on the agenda. We got encounter card for Jacqueline. Arcane Barrier. As an additional cost to move into or out of, test Willpower 4. If successful, discard it. Otherwise, you must either cancel the effects of the move or discard the top 5 cards of your deck. Well, thankfully, that's she got that. She at least has a chance of getting rid of that. So that's going to go on top of there. And then Monterey Jack gets... Oh, of course. Second card, we don't even find the Hunting Horror. It finds us. So the Hunting Horror is 2/3/2. Hunter and Retaliate. At the start of the enemy phase, reveal a random token from the Chaos Bag. If the revealed token has a symbol on it, ready Hunting Horror. And when it leaves play, it enters the Void, which is just a separate location that doesn't have... we can't interact with it. And the Shadow Spawn is a set-aside card that if it attaches to Hunting Horror if it enters the Void. Or does Shadow Spawn... Oh no, it attaches to it right away. So when Hunting Horror enters play, attach the set-aside Shadow Spawn to it, or add 1 resource if it's already attached. So it gets +1 fight, +1 health, and +1 evade for each resource on it. If there are at least 3 resources on it, it also gains massive. Well, that sounds like an absolutely terrifying thing to get early on. I think that might totally screw us, because we don't really have a way to... I mean, it's a pretty easy evade end fight, but I feel like I don't really want to kill it. Yeah, and it's going to engage with us. I guess we'll just try to evade it. I really wish we had pickpocketing into play so we could draw a card. But let's go with Monterey Jack first. Lone Wolf is going to trigger for an extra resource, so we go up to 4. And yeah, we'll just try and evade 5/2. Ooh, what's that? +1 if you started this round 1 location away. Oh, no, we did not. But it is evaded. First try. And I guess we'll go to the security office. This has the potential to ready at the start of their enemy phase, which is a little bit annoying. We don't even know if Jacqueline's going to get out of here, because a 4 willpower test is really, really difficult. That is really, really difficult. I guess maybe we'll just wait here first and just set up. Yeah, maybe we'll just go to security office because we have Adam Lynch. So we're going to use 1 action, 2nd action to move into security office. There's 4 clues. Okay, there's at least clues on here. Okay, shroud level 3, look at the revealed side of an exhibit hall in play, or the top card of the exhibit deck. Okay, so it's a double action to do that, but because we have Adam Lynch, it only costs 1 action, which is nice, but I think we're just going to try to get these clues off. So evade, move, let's spend our 3rd action. We only got 2 actions left. Let's spend 3, get lockpicks into play, and then we'll use our last action to investigate with lockpicks, and we'll investigate at a 9 to 3. That's going to be a success. Now, hunting horror thing only... Yeah, okay, it spawns the hunting horror, but only if we fail. So it goes down to 3 clues. We get 1 on Monterey Jack. And that is going to be his turn, and because he moved 1 location away from his starting location, we're going to get a resource and go back up to 2. Because again, there's still cards we want to get out there. All right, Jacqueline. So Jacqueline still can't gain resources in here, but I mean, I guess we just go for it and then hopefully discard the rest of our cards. I mean, ideally, he doesn't ready up and he stays in here for a round. Well, either way, we're going to try to get out of here first, because if we don't get out of here, that's not going to really change much. Especially when we don't have any resources and we can't gain resources to play this stuff. So we're just going to have to hopefully get out of here. All right, 5 to 4 tests. Oh, it's a -2. It's a fail. So we have to cancel the move or discard the top 5 cards of it. I think we'll just try one more time, because if we succeed on this one, then we can still have an action to move into the administration office. So we'll just try it again. 5 to 4. Oh, that's a success. Nice. So it discards it, right? Nice. Okay, so it discards that. We have... Oh, wait, we only have 1 more action left then. Shoot. Yeah, we tried twice, succeeded on the second one. Ugh. That's really unfortunate. I might just want to stay here, honestly. Because even if it doesn't engage right away and hit, it's going to engage with Jacqueline, and Jacqueline doesn't have any of her fight stuff left. So, yeah, that's really unfortunate because I can't really do anything else. I guess we can draw a card and that's about it, because we can't gain resources. Yeah, we'll just chill here for now. At least we got rid of the arcane barrier. We got arcane studies, which is not great at the moment. And the end of... Yeah, enemy phase. Started enemy phase. We'll see if this readies up. Nope, does not ready up, luckily. But upkeep phase it will. So it'll just ready and chill here for now. And then we'll get a resource going up to 3 for Monterey, drawing a card. We get field work. We're getting a lot of good cards early on. No resource for Jacqueline, but we draw and get hypnotic gaze. So that can actually help out, but unfortunately, again, we don't have any resources to do things with. All right, Mythos phase. We get 2 out of 5 Doom. Encounter card for Jacqueline. Stalked in the dark. That doesn't sound good. If hunting horror is in play, it readies, engages you, and attacks each investigator at your location. Jesus. Otherwise, stalked in the dark gains surge. Wow, so it doesn't even matter where it is. Well, so much for that. So it's going to hit her for a 1 and 1. And our familiar only has 1 health, so unfortunately we're just going to take that. This is really, really bad. Okay. Well, Monterey Jack gets slithering behind you. If hunting horror is in play, add 1 Doom to it. Great. That sounds awesome. If hunting horror is not in play, it'll just spawn it. Well, this is really, really bad. Jacqueline's in a super bad spot. Oh, man. I'm going to have Monterey come back here and evade it, but even if he does, it goes 1, 2, evade. I guess if we evade on the 3rd action, we can use a 4th action to move out. I mean, we can tank some damage, It might be worth even just getting hiking boots into play first, just for extra bump in agility, and then go 1 to evade as a last action. And even if it evades and hits us, I guess we'll be okay with that. But man, we won't get any resources then. All right, well, we can't even do that because we'd have to move, engage, and then evade. But yeah, I guess we have to peel it off Jacqueline. Jacqueline has no way to get rid of it. Yeah, I guess we'll do that. So Monterey Jack at the start of his turn, because a lone wolf will go up to 4 resources. We're going to go 1, 2, engage as 3. And then we're going to evade as 4. So we're evading at a 5 to 2. Alright, so -1. We're getting a lot of those cultist symbols. That's not great. So, is evaded. End of his turn. He did end 2 spaces away, but we can't gain resources, but we'll still be able to draw a card. Get another pickpocketing, so we gotta back up if we want to commit something. And Jacqueline's free to move, so I guess we'll get Jacqueline to go explore the administration office. So we'll go 1, 2 into the administration office. There's only 2 clues there, but there is only 1 shroud level. However, you cannot investigate administration offices while you have 4 or fewer resources. Oof. No, where did these 2? Oh, these 2 should have been spent. I forgot to spend those clues. So there's 2 clues on there. We have 1 action left, and I guess we'll just play our emergency cash to get some resources going, set up. Plus, we need those resources to even investigate this place. So we'll use our last action to play emergency cash, going up to 3 resources, and that'll be her turn. All right, enemy phase. Let's see if this thing readies up. It does, unfortunately. So that means he will get a chance to hit us. And he has 1 and 1, so I'm just going to put both of those damages on Leo. Sorry, Leo. You are going to tank for us for this time. Alright, so that's that turn. Upkeep phase. Monterey Jack just draws a card, but knows resources. Gets Lucky Cigarette Case. And then Jacqueline can actually get a resource finally, and draws a Holy Rosary. That's really, really good. Okay, we got a lot of really good assets. We might end up just wanting to try and kill this hunting horror, but unfortunately we're not. It's a little bit awkward for Jacqueline because all of her spells do +1 damage, so she's going to be wasting an excess damage essentially each time she attacks with it. And that essentially is a waste of a charge a little bit. Alright, Mythos phase is going to be 4 out of 5 doom because there's 1 on the hunting horror already. That's another reason when you want to kill it, I think. Alright, so the Monterey Jacqueline gets Visions of Futures Past. Oh boy, so many willpower tests. This could be really, really bad for Monterey. Test willpower 5 for each point you fail by. Discard the top card of your deck. At least that's 1 for her. We always love these, don't we? Don't really have anything I want to get rid of, so I'm not going to commit anything. We'll just take a 5 to 5 test. Hopefully get a 0. -2. Alright, that's not the worst. So we'll discard 2 cards off the top of our deck. Maybe we'll get rid of our weakness. Another robe, so luckily we already have 1. And we get, Azure Flame, but that's okay. We have 2 Shrivelings. So, not the worst. I'm actually fine not drawing those. And then Monterey Jack gets Twist of Fate. Alright, this one's not too bad. Hopefully we can just take a damage. So, reveal a random token. We're looking for Elder or Positive. It's a -1, but that means we just take a damage rather than 2 horror. So that is fine. And we'll just take the 1 damage because we don't want to kill off Leo at the moment. So we're 1 out of 8 damage. Oh wait, that's not a bad Mythos phase. And I guess we'll just use Monterey first because I don't think it really changes anything. We'll use Monterey and we'll just evade this hunting horror. Oh, Shadow Spawn remains attached. What if it's in the void? When hunting horror enters play, attach to set aside or add 1. Alright, well, I think it's just a timer. Like, we just have to outrun it as much as we can. So yeah, I guess we'll just try evading it. And I don't need 2 pickpocketing, so I'm just going to commit 1. because I really want to get this off the first try, so at least that -4 won't kill us. We also get a resource. Oh, actually, no, we can't get a resource. Shoot. Lone Wolf doesn't trigger because we're in the museum entrance. All right, 6-2-2. Oof, -3. That was close. Still would have been fine, but better safe than sorry. All right, so he's evaded. Second action, we're going to move here. Third action, move into the security office. And then I think we're on a bit of a timer here. So I think I'm just going to use my last action to investigate with lockpicks, or investigate at a 9-3. Skull, what is that? -1, it's a -3 if hunting horror is at your location. All right, good to know. So we get another clue. Nice. And we don't have to discard lockpicks. Lockpicks is so good. All right, and unfortunately we need to be in this location, so... Oh, sorry about that. I forgot to set my timer, so I didn't realize the recording ended. I really hate how mirrorless cameras only have a 30-minute recording limit. I don't know when it shut off, so I'll just backtrack and talk about my last turn. So very last turn, we were able to successfully evade hunting horror on the first go when Monterey Jack was here. And then we moved into security office and investigated with our lockpicks and got another clue off. So we have 2 clues total. And then for Jacqueline, we just got a resource going up to 5 and then spending all of those resources to play Shriveling for 3 and Holy Rosary for 2, just to get her set up for the future. Unfortunately, we are going to need to get more resources if we want to investigate here, but I think we'll leave that to Monterey Jack. And maybe we'll have Jacqueline moving into maybe just protect in case hunting horror comes into play. It's the enemy phase now, so hunting horror is going to check to see if it readies. And he does not ready. It's not a symbol, so he'll just stay there. But upkeep phase, he'll ready. But at least he's a turn away now. We'll gain a resource for Jacqueline going up to 1, drawing a card. Get Guts. It's a good one to have. And then Monterey is going to go up to 6 resources and draw Forewarned. Perfect. So that's going to help out. We do have clues on top of us, so if we get a really, really bad treachery card, we can get rid of that. All right. Unfortunately, the Doom is going to progress. There's 4 Doom on the agenda and 1 on hunting horror, so all Doom will leave play. And we're going to progress the agenda. From the shadows of the museum halls, a terrible creature slithers forth, long and serpentine and propelled by black leathery wings. If hunting horror is in play, add 1 Doom to it. Well, that's not great. If hunting horror is not in play, search the encounter deck, discard pile in the void for hunting horror, and spawn it in the museum halls if able. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. And then for agenda card 2A, we have Shadows Deepen. The shadows in the museum grow and become darker. As the shadows lengthen and shift, they begin to suggest the sinewy body of an uncanny creature darting at the periphery of your awareness. When hunting horror enters play, attach... Oh, same thing. Same thing as the previous one. So if it's already in play, it's just going to get a resource on top of this. Now, it would have actually entered play from the last agenda. So does it get a resource then? I guess so. That's unfortunate. So it's got +1 to everything now. Okay, well, that sort of sucks. Alright, well, let's also shuffle the encounter discard pile into the deck. And then we'll draw our encounter cards for the Mythos phase. This seems really, really tough. Tough with only 2 people. Alright, Mythos encounter deck. For Jacqueline, Cursed Luck. If you succeed at a skill test by 1 or more, discard Cursed Luck, and it's -1 to all skill tests until that happens. And then Monterey Jack gets pushed into the beyond. Choose and shuffle a non-story asset you control into your deck and discard the top 3 cards of your deck. If a copy of that asset is discarded, take 2 horror. I mean, we have another copy of Lockpicks. And plus, if we actually shuffle Lockpicks back in, there's less of a chance of us discarding it off the top of the deck. So yeah, let's just get rid of Lockpicks. We'll shuffle that into our deck and discard the top 3. I don't think it's worth using our Forewarned on this one. We really want to use our Forewarned, I think, for something that's like a big willpower test. At least, in my opinion. I don't know if that's correct or not. Alright, let's discard the top 3. We discard... Hey, we discard our weakness. Hell yeah, Overzealous. That's like a really, really bad one, too. Because, yeah, as long as you don't draw your you don't draw it. It doesn't come into play. Okay, that's good. We lose an Aeon chart and our second copy of Leo. That's a little bit unfortunate. But getting rid of our weakness, like overzealous, this weakness is the absolute worst. I think this is like one of, if not the worst, in my opinion. Just having to, especially for Monterey Jack, who is really, really bad with the encounter deck with 1 willpower. That's really, really rough. All right, that's not the worst Mythos phase. Could be worse, could be worse. Well, I guess we'll just have to get the lockpicks into play and go. You know, Jacqueline has a really good investigate now. Jacqueline might be better off coming here to investigate, and we can get our ability triggered off with Monterey if we move here, but also we have enough resources to investigate here. So yeah, let's do that, I think. So we're gonna swap places. We're gonna use Jacqueline first. We're gonna go 2. In our last action, we're gonna investigate with Rite of Seeking. We have -1 to everything, but because of our Holy Rosary, it still puts us at a 5-3. And I'm gonna commit the Guts, I think, to that. Yeah, we'll commit Guts. I want to keep Lucky Cigarette Case maybe for Monterey to mitigate some really, really bad willpower test, potentially. All right, so we are testing, let's see, that's going to be 7-3. I don't think we need to use our ability with her, especially when we have such a high positive. -2, nice. So that's going to put us 5-3. We succeed by 1, so it gets rid of Cursed Luck. And we get to draw a card off of Guts. We get to draw another Guts, nice. And because of our Rite of Seeking, we get both of the clues here. Great turn. All right, so Monterey Jack is going to swap. We're going to go 1-2. We have 2 actions left thanks to Leo. I think we will... So if I play lockpicks, I can't actually investigate this. So I think we're just going to investigate as is. Would I rather have field work into play or hiking boots? I think hiking boots will just let us have a static +1 to agility, which I think is better. So retroactively, before I move, I guess even still when I'm here. So third action, we're going to spend 2, going down to 4 resources, getting hiking boots into play. So we have 6 agility. And then we'll just use our last action to test 3-1 as investigate. Or sorry, 4-1. Nice. Oh, Lone Wolf also would have triggered, so we're actually up to 5 resources. Nice, that's an easy success. So we got 1 clue. So we're up to 3 with Monterey. So we got 5 total. We're in a good spot to start getting some of these exhibit halls into play, I think. So we move, played, and yeah, investigated. So that's gonna do it for him. Alrighty, because he moved 2 spaces away, he gets a resource, goes up to 6, and draws a card. Get another field work. So I'll have to get those into play, but there's not too many places with clues anymore, so it's not as necessary. But hiking boots will let us move for free once we get that last clue. Alright, enemy phase, hunting horror is going to move into the museum halls. And then upkeep phase. So we get a resource for Jacqueline going up to 2. Draws Arbiter Fates. Nice, that's her special card. Monterey is going to go up to 7 resources and draws Sneak Attack. Okay, cool. That can be helpful in killing the hunting horror. Let me just double check the void. Well, hunting horror is in the void. It's considered out of play and cannot be affected. Yeah, okay. Cool. Alright, Mythos phase. Gonna be 1 out of, or I guess 2 out of 7 doom, because there's already 1 on hunting horror. Jacqueline's card is Obscuring Fog. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Location gets +2 Shroud, but we already got the clues off of that, so that's good. So we're not going to worry about that. And then Monterey Jack gets Visions of Future Past. Test 5 willpower for each point you fail by. Discard the top card of your deck. This seems like one I don't want. Because knowing that these aren't here, that means that that encounter card that kills you, essentially, when you run out of cards in your deck. I don't think I want to end up discarding 5 cards. Like, how bad is that? I mean, I could commit my Lucky Cigarette Case. You know what? I don't think this one is as bad as some of the other ones. Because I guess we could actually probably just discard the one that ends up killing me if it gets low enough. My deck's already still decent right now, so I think we're just gonna commit the lucky cigarette case for +1, so we're at 2 to 5. Uh-oh. It's a -1, but it's -3 if hunting horrors at your location. All right, well, that lucky cigarette case made us reduce it by 1, so we're only discarding, that was it's 1 to 4, so we're discarding 4 cards. Oops, wrong deck. Wrong discard. So we're discarding Lockpicks, Lone Wolf, Manual Dexterity, and hey, we discarded our other weakness. Okay, that actually worked out in our favor. We discarded his weakness, so both of our weaknesses are out of our deck, so we actually don't have to worry about that anymore for Monterey Jack. Manual Dexterity would have been nice, but that's okay. Cool. Not too bad, not too bad. So do we want to go kill that hunting horror? I'm trying to think. So I can use Monterey Jack, and if he gets this last clue... Oh, he can't actually move into here with a free action because it doesn't have a clue on it, and it's not an unrevealed location. That's really annoying. I would like to get this field work into play. I guess field work is better when we're prepared to go into an exhibit hall with that has potential for clues. Could get pickpocketing into play because I think we're going to move in here, try and evade after we get this clue. So we get the clue, move as a second action, also play pickpocketing for 3, and then evade as 4. That might help stave it off for a turn. Problem is it has 4 health. I guess we can. I guess shriveling now is much better. I could also just grab the last clue, move in here, evade, and then sneak attack. But I guess we'll use Jacqueline first, because she could just end up killing this right away, and we don't have to waste anything. So let's go Jacqueline moving into here. It's going to engage with her. It's got 4 health, 3 attack now. We're going to use a charge off Shriveling to attack, and we're attacking at 6 to 3. Do I want to commit anything? I think 6 to 3 is all right. I can commit my guts, but I think it's safer to save that. Oh, nice. That's just a -1. We didn't fail, so we don't need to buff it. So it's 2 damage on the hunting horror. And I think we'll just use our last action to attack again, going on to 2 charges. -1, that's a kill. Woo! Alright, so hunting horror dies. It keeps the resources on it though, right? It loses the doom at least, so that's nice. It enters the void, remains attached. Hunting horror gets +1 health for each resource on... If there's a... Okay, yeah, it just keeps the resource. So it goes into the void, still has 1 resource on him. That's still good. Alright, Monterey Jack, we are going to... start of the turn, Lone Wolf is triggered, so we go up to 8 resources total. I guess we don't really need lockpicks right now. But let's spend 2. Let's get field work into play, at least one of those. Second action, let's just investigate at a 4 to 1. That's going to be a success. So it gets the last clue off that. We go up to 4. And we have 2 actions left. Let us go 3, and then we're going to spend 2 of them. Going down to 2 to get the first exhibit hall into play. So let's see. Played, investigated, move, and paid for. Yeah. And that's going to be it for him. And at least we're together in the same spot now. End of his turn, because we moved 1 space away. 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we're all right drawing cards still, now that we know that our weakness is out of our deck. So we're going to choose to draw a card instead of get a resource for his ability, because we only moved 1 space away. Ooh, we got Dr. Henry Armitage. Nice. We already have Leo into play, which is a little bit unfortunate, but he does count as a double question mark commit. But he has 2 health. After you draw a non-weakness card, discard that card and exhaust to gain 3 resources. It's a little bit easier for us to gain resources, but the fact that it just has a double commit means we can use it for a really tough test or something like that if we need to. So I'm happy with that. All right, and then no enemies, so upkeep phase. Jacqueline goes up to 3 resources, draws Blinding Light. That'll help if the Hunting Horror comes back, if we just want to evade rather than kill. And then Monterey Jack's going to go up to 7 resources and draws another sneak attack. All right, so we got a lot of battle stuff if we need it. Are there any enemies in this encounter deck, I wonder? Can't remember what I put in there. All right. Mythos phase, we're at 2 out of 7 Doom. Jacqueline gets Locked Door. Attached to the location with the most clues and without a locked door attached. Perfect. We don't have anything. So I guess we'll just put it where the obscuring fog is, because we're not really going to be worried about that. So can't be investigated until we break that door down. That's perfectly fine. And then Monterey Jack gets Crypt Chill. Test willpower 4. If you fail, choose and discard 1 asset you control. If you cannot, take 2 damage instead. Yikes. That is one that we don't want. I do have a clue. I mean, the shroud level on here is only 2, so I could easily pick up the clue before I leave. Because, I mean, I could commit Dr. Henry Armitage. That would put us at 3 to 4. Jacqueline does have a Guts to commit. But is it worth spending all that resources? I mean, discarding a asset here is really, really annoying. So I could do... If I discard both Henry Armitage and her Guts, that would put it at 5 to 4, which still isn't even that great, but we could use Jacqueline's ability to potentially draw out of it, but that still has a risk of losing, which is not great. That's really the only thing I can commit. Let's just play it safe. I really don't want to lose any of these resources because I think we're pretty good on time, and I just want to keep this pace up. So I think we're going to play Forewarned. We're going to drop one of our clues at the location because this place is relatively easy to get a clue at, and we'll cancel the Revelation effect. All right, I'm liking these Forewarns. Good addition. Oh wait, so let's go Jacqueline first, because then we can have Lone Wolf trigger when it's Monterey Jack's turn. And I guess we're just going to go for it. Oh, actually, as an action, let's spend 2 clues while we're here. Let's get another exhibit hall into play. Let's actually move all this stuff down. All right. So we have 2 of these we can go to. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's all random. Let's just go to this one on the far left as our last action. Actually, no, we'll have 1 action left. Nature exhibit. Ooh, 4 shroud level, and when you enter this location, discard 2 cards from your hand at random. Yikes, there's 2 clues on here. It is victory 1 if we can clear those clues, but that's still really rough. All right, well, I guess we're discarding 2 clues. Or sorry, discarding 2 cards at random. So let's give our hand a shuffle. Luckily we do have a pretty large hand, but I really don't want to get rid of my other Shriveling, because we're already down to 2 charges on that. So we discard our Guts. Oof, that sucks. And we discard our Arbiter of Fate's ability. Not the worst, but still really, really annoying. All right. We have 1 action left. I guess we might as well try and test 6 to 4 with our Rite of Seeking. I don't really see why not. Actually, let's get our Arcane Studies into play, because we're not going to be getting a lot of resources right now, but if we can use that for just tougher tests like this, might come in handy. So let's go down to 1 resource. We got Arcane Studies into play too. And that'll be her turn. All right, Monterey Jack. Yeah, I guess we'll just get this clue, because then hiking boots can actually get us into the exhibit hall for free, which is very, very nice. So yeah, we'll just test. I think we're gonna use our lockpicks here. We're at 4 to 2. I don't think we need to test our lockpicks. I think I'd rather save my lockpicks in case this place is a higher shroud level. But I guess we also do have field work, so it's not the worst thing, but still. 4 to 2 still all right. Oh, that's a -4. Lockpicks would have been nice there. Oh yeah, we would have got a resource for Lone Wolf too. Second action, let's try again. Alright, -1. That's a success. So we get that last clue again, and because that's the last clue there, we're going to exhaust hiking boots and move to a connecting unrevealed location. So we'll move to this hall. So that's the Medusa exhibit. Also 2 clues on here. After you fail a skill test while here, discard an asset you control. It's only 2 shroud level though. So that actually would be easier for Jacqueline to get to. It's not great. So let's see, we investigated twice. We got to move for 3, so we actually have 2 actions left. And because there's a clue here, we're going to use field work just to get +2 for our next skill test. And we're just going to investigate. So that means we're at 6 to 2. It's a -1 because hunting horror is not there. So we get a clue there. Up to 3. And I guess we'll just investigate. Actually, no, we'll get lockpicks into play now. And then set up for next turn. So we're going to go down to 5 resources. Get lockpicks into play. I'm just going to play it over Adam Lynch because we're not really using him right now. Alright, this is not bad. And because we ended up 1 space away from the starting location, let us... I think our hand's alright. Let's just gain a resource, go up to 6. Because if we want to play these backstabs or something of the sort. No enemy phase, so upkeep phase. Go up to 7 resources for Monterey. Draw emergency cash. And then Jacqueline goes up to 2 resources and draws Occult Theory. Nice. That'll be actually really good for potentially getting this with Rite of Seeking. Awesome. Alright, Mythos phase, 3 out of 7 Doom. Jacqueline gets Passage into the Veil. Test willpower 3. Test has +2 if hunting horror is at your location. If you fail, discard top 5 cards of your deck or take 1 direct damage and deal 1 damage to all of your allies. Ew. That'd be really bad if Monterey got that. We're at 6. Yeah, we'll just test the 6 to 3. Oh, that's the auto fail. I really should use my ability, but I didn't say it. So, you know what? Considering we haven't seen her weakness yet, I'm just gonna choose to discard the top 5 cards of our deck. Because honestly, I don't want my familiar to die, because otherwise we lose one of our spells. We're already really low on cards though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we discard, no weaknesses, uh-oh. We discard Hypnotic Gaze, Emergency Cash, or Other Occult Theory, Azure Flame, and Ward of Protection. All really good cards. Alright, Monterey Jack gets, he gets the same thing. That is awful. So, I guess we're discarding the top 5 cards of our deck, because I can't afford to lose 2 ally assets. Really wish I had the other 4 warned right now. Now, I could commit Henry Armitage if I want to be at 3 to 3, but I think I'll just take it. Unfortunately, if I could only boost by 1, I would at least have a little bit of a chance, but I have nothing else I can commit to that. So we'll just take the fail. It's impossible for us to succeed, even with the Elder Sign. So we will just discard the top 5 cards of our deck. As long as we don't draw the other encounter card that kills us before we reshuffle, I think we're in a good spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we backstab, scout ahead, unexpected courage, hiking boots, and Aeon chart. Damn, we lost both of our Aeon charts before we got to use them. That's unfortunate. Let's have Jacqueline go. So Jacqueline is going to use the last charge of Rite of Seeking to investigate with willpower. So we're at 6 to 4. I can use all my resources with Arcane Studies to go 8 to 4 rather than use my Occult Theory. Is that better? Yeah, I think maybe I'd rather save Occult Theory for something else. Because maybe we can also use it if we're in the same location as Monterey Jack to pump up a willpower test if we need to. Yeah, we're just going to use both of our resources and pump up twice with Arcane Studies to be at 8 to 4. -2. Didn't need to do that, but better safe than sorry. And because we resolved, because we succeeded, we get an additional clue, so we get both of those. Perfect. And let's use our second action to go to museum halls, and third action, I think, to just spend them and get another exhibit hall into play. Wait, investigators in the museum hall spend 2 clues as a group. That doesn't mean all of us have to be there, I think, right? I think it just means everyone who has eligible clues to spend have to be all there. So if we had like 1 and 1 each, we would both need to be in here. I think that's how it works. I'm going to assume that's how it works. All right, Monterey Jack, let us... Oh, and we get an experience point for that. Hell yeah. All right, let us see. We got so much stuff. Guess we'll just investigate first, see what happens. And we're just going to use our lock picks because I don't want this to fail. Yeah, I think that's fine. So we're testing 9 to 2. Oh, also we got a resource for Lone Wolf. Oof, -4. Okay, it's actually good we use those lock picks. So that's going to be success. So we get the last clue, going up to 4 clues. And because that was the last one, we can't use hiking boots because unfortunately there's no connecting places with clues on it. And there's no unreeled location that's attached to here. So that's okay. So we'll just use our second action to go into here. Third action. Do I want to get another field work into play? Or maybe just play something else? Or maybe get our pickpocketing into play? Yeah, might as well. We will spend 2 resources, get our other field work into play. We got so many assets into play, this is crazy. Alright, so investigate, move, play, let's go. Investigate. Move, play, and then move into here. 3 shroud level. There's 4 clues on here. Ah. After you fail a skill test while in this location, take 1 horror. Okay, it's not the worst. It's not great either, but definitely more things I'm scared of. All right, cool. So this exhibit hall is actually connected to nature, so Hall of the Dead, and then Medusa's exhibit is not. We haven't actually found the one that one's attached with. So let's just move these over so we can tell what's connected to each other. But it was 2 spaces away, so we're going to gain a resource going up to 7 and drawing a card. Hey, we got our bullwhip, nice, and that is fast. Cool. So we can get that into play even if we're engaged. So now we have both things that we can use to fight with, which is really, really good before the hunting horror comes back. All right, no enemies, so upkeep phase. Go up to 1 resource for Jacqueline. Jacqueline draws. Oh, I discarded down to my weakness. So we can't ignore chaos symbols, and at the end of your turn, reveal 5 chaos tokens from the bag, and we want to look for an elder symbol to get rid of it. Honestly, this weakness is pretty soft. We actually haven't been using her ability, I think, as much as I should be using it. But we've also had a decent amount of bonuses, and I think it loses its effectiveness the higher the bonus that you have. Wait. And then for Monterey Jack, goes up to 8 resources. He's almost down to his deck, or bottom of his deck. We get manual dexterity, and then lockpicks will unexhaust. All right, so Mythos phase. So we're at 4 out of 7 Doom. I think we're doing all right. We got 4 clues, so we can get 2 more into play. And now we're down to the bottom 3. So one of these 3 at the bottom can potentially be the restricted one. So it might be worth going to the security office. Maybe we'll get them into play first and then search. But Jacqueline's going to draw, gets Twist of Fate, so reveal a random token. Do we want to use our ability here? Yeah, I think we're all right. Oh, never mind, we have our weakness into play anyways. It's a -3, that just means a damage, which I'll put onto... Oh no, I don't have my robes in play. Alright, I guess we'll just take that. Don't want to kill my familiar spirit. Okay, and then Monterey Jack gets ephemeral exhibits. Oh, nice, it's a book test. Test intellect 3. If you fail, lose 1 action for each point you fail by. Okay, that's actually not too bad. It's nice to know there's not just willpower tests in there. Since we have Leo, I think we'll just take it. I don't want to use up any of my resources. Alright, we're testing 4 to 3. -2, so that brings us 2 to 3, so we actually just lose 1 action, which is fine. Because that'll just mean we effectively just still have 3, because we have Leo. Alright, that was a great Mythos turn. We've been dodging this hunting horror, which is nice too. I'm just trying to think if I've missed any point where I should have played him, but I don't think so. Okay, well, unfortunately Monterey Jack has the clues. We don't have another right of seeking into play, so Jacqueline can't really investigate that. She has an occult theory, but she'd only get 1 off. Yeah, maybe we'll just bounce back and forth. So we're going to use Monterey Jack first. We're going to spend an action, or sorry, we're going to trigger Lone Wolf, go up to 9 resources. First action, we're going to investigate with our lockpicks, testing at a 6. That's be 10 to 3. Jesus. Easy success. Definitely 1 by 2. So we get another clue. This goes down to 3. We go up to 5. We're going to spend a second action. Do I just want to keep trying to get clues? I don't really want to get much more horror. We have enough to like start spending clues. Like if we're at 6 clues, I can always come back here too. We have enough to get all 3 exhibits into play, and then from that point we can just search. So second action, let's just move in here. Third action, which is our last one because we lost 1 action. We're going to spend 2, go down to 3 clues, and draw another card. Then we'll have Jacqueline going in there, and then maybe we can actually... Maybe it's a really, really low shroud level or something else she can do. If anything, we'll just know what it is. Maybe we'll get lucky. Maybe it'll be the restricted access. Alright, we just had moved 1 location away from our starting location, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We already have 7 cards. Let's just gain a resource. We're already really close to our deck being depleted anyways. And that is really, really bad. Oh, actually, also, before I end my turn, I'll spend 2 of those resources and just get my trusty bullwhip into play because it's fast. I remembered this time. Everyone in the last... there are 2 times that I missed that. Cool. So that is going to be his turn. Alright, Jacqueline. We're going to... Do I want to do anything with Jacqueline first? I don't think so. Let's just go into here and see what happens. Hey, it's the restricted hall. Wow, it's the top of the bottom 3. We got really lucky there. Shoot. Sort of wish that Monterey Jack could get in here. There's 4 clues on it. While hunting horror is at this location, the location cannot be investigated. It's victory 1. It's 3 shroud levels, so that's actually not too bad. Oh, we need to progress the act now that we entered the restricted hall. Nice. Okay. Wow, we got really lucky there. Things are looking up this session. I'm actually feeling pretty good about this. I wasn't seeing some of those encounter cards. I think we've, luckily, with Monterey Jack, just been able to dodge quite a few things. Well, that was only 1 action, so let's progress the act because we entered the restricted hall. When you enter the restricted hall, you find the curator of the museum lying in a pool of blood. Yikes. His intestines strewn about in a grotesque display. Your stomach turns over and over as you resist the urge to vomit. Whatever did this, it's still nearby. Oh, shoot, we get the hunting horror into play. I mean, I guess that was to be expected. Advance to Act 3. I'm guessing we have to... I don't know. I have no clue what to do with this. I mean, luckily it only has 1 resource on it so far. And luckily, because it wasn't already in play... Yeah, it doesn't get another resource. Oh, wait. Shoot, never mind. When it enters play, attach the set-aside copy of Shadow Spawn to it, or add 1 resource if it's already attached. Shoot. Alright, so it has 2 resources on it. That means it's a 4-5-4. That's gross. At least it's not massive yet. So that does engage with Jacqueline, which I guess is our fighter, so it's not the worst thing. But we only have 2 charges on Shriveling left. And now he has more than 4 health. Alright, last act. Oh, this is a different Act 2. Searching for the tome. Somewhere in the area is Olus Wormius' Latin translation of the Necronomicon. You must find it and escape while you can. If there are no clues remaining in the exhibit hall, advance. Oh, that's actually not too bad. Oh man, Rite of Seeking would have been sick here. Get 2 clues in one go. I mean, we don't have enough resources to play Hypnotic Gaze either. Shoot. We only got 1 resource. So if we fight, we're fighting at a 6-4, which is not even that great. I could spend that last resource to make it 7-4 to do 2 damage. I wonder if it's worth just taking the hit and pulling him out of the exhibit hall as an action. Because it doesn't raise his damage, right? It just raises his health, fight, and evade. So he still does only 1 and 1, and we're not in the worst shape. And we could actually kill off Familiar Spirit for 1 attack because we have already used our Rite of Seeking. Because he also has Retaliate, so we got to be really careful about potentially dying. So if we move back into here, can Monterey Jack commit anything is the question too. Yeah, I think maybe we'll just stick together. Plus, it's probably better to fight outside of the exhibit hall, because even if we fail, then at least Monterey Jack can go in there and investigate. Yeah, let's just take an attack of opportunity and move into the museum hall. We'll take 1 and 1, go up to 3 damage, and we'll put a horror on Holy Rosary instead. And then we'll use our last action to use a charge on Shriveling. So let's commit a Blinding Light, because I think if anything we're going to save up our resources to use Hypnotic Gaze. So we're fighting at 7-4. Yeah, we'll just fight 7-4. -1, that's a success. Whew! Alright, so we do 2 damage to him because of Shriveling. And no symbol, so we don't take a damage. Now do I go again and just fight 6-4? And just hopefully not get wrecked. The alternative is to wait for Monterey Jack, because if Monterey Jack fights and he can do +1 damage with Trusty Bullwhip, or actually he could evade with Trusty Bullwhip and use, and that would deal 1 damage even if we evade him, and then just spend a sneak attack to kill him. And then he'd have 2 actions left over still, but it'd be a lot easier. Because if we take another hit, we're at 4 out of 6 damage on Jacqueline, which is really, really bad. But I think we're pretty good at Monterey killing him next round. So yeah, I think we'll just use our last Shriveling charge. We'll just fight. I'm just gonna use the last resource as well. Bump it up to a 7-4. Give us the best chance possible. Because we also don't want to fail when hunting horrors at our location, because the skull's a -3 when he's here. Speaking of, it's a -3, but luckily we did commit that last resource with Arcane Studies, so that matches. So we actually do another 2 damage. Whew, that was close. So he's 1 health left. All right, and that's going to be her turn. All right, end of her turn. We're going to see if we get the Dark Future weakness out of the way. Looking for Elder Sign. It's a 0. Auto fail. -1. -2. Come on. Nope. Didn't get it. That's okay. Enemy phase. He's going to hit Jacqueline for 1 and 1. I think we'll just... You know, now that both Shriveling and Rite of Seeking are gone, we're just going to have Familiar Spirit take both of those hits. Sorry, kitty. And then we will get rid of... I guess we'll just get rid of the Rite of Seeking. They're both 0 charges, so... Not that it matters too much. Alright, upkeep phase. Oop. Jacqueline goes up to 1 resource, draws Ward of Protection. That's good. And we actually have the 1 resource to play it if we need to. Lockpicks unexhausts. They're also going to go up to 9 resources and draw Unexpected Courage. Perfect. We got a lot of good things going for us, I think. I think we're in pretty good shape. Now the rough part. Mythos phase. 5 out of 7 Doom. Jacqueline draws Visions of Futures Past. I think we'll just take it for each point you fail by discard the top card of your deck. Still got one weakness in here. And that's okay, I think. I don't think we need to worry about discarding that treachery. Do I want to commit anything is the question. I do have my occult theory, but I think I'd rather save that for saving Monterey Jack if he draws a really bad one. Plus we have 6. Yeah, we'll test 6 to 5. I could make it 7 to 5 if I want to pump up with Arcane Studies. Is that worth it? Skull does count as a -3, but that's okay. I think we'll just take it. 6 to 5. Ooh, that makes us auto fail, so that counts as a 0. Makes our skill modifier a 0, so we discard top 5 cards of our deck. Oh, so much for that. 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's hopefully get rid of that last weakness. And we did. We got rid of our internal injury. We lose our Song of the Dead, though, and 2 Unexpected Courages, which is rough, as well as an Arcane Study. All right, Monterey Jack gets Twist of Fate. All right, this one's not that bad. Not that bad. I think we'll just take that. -2. Take a damage. And we'll just take it. Going 2 out of 8. All right. Nice. That wasn't great discarding a bunch of cards, but we haven't drawn that card, luckily. That I don't know how many are in the deck. I think there's only 2. We haven't drawn the one that deals us 10 damage if we get to below our deck, or we run out of deck. We're almost out of deck on both of our characters, though, so we have to try and finish this as soon as possible. And what's the quickest way to do that? We could easily get 2 clues, because we can pump up 2 field works on this to get +4, and then use lockpicks on the second one. So most likely we can get 2 clues, but I think we really need to kill this Haunting Horror. We need to free up Jacqueline because she's taking too much damage. What's the easiest way to do that? Man, if only we had another Shriveling into play. Like, we have one in hand, but yeah, unfortunately Shriveling we can't just use to fight with willpower. And we can't really fight normally. If only we had more resources, we could use Hypnotic Gaze and potentially kill him that way. Alright, yeah, we'll use Monterey just to peel off, I think. But I think I'm pretty confident we can kill Hunting Horror with just the Trusty Bullwhip. And it would save us an action having to engage it. Yeah, so I think we're just going to use the Trusty Bullwhip. So we're fighting at a 6 to 4. I think we'll commit Manual Dexterity for 8 to 4. And that should be good because it gets us out of the worst thing. Ooh, Elder Sign. No, it doesn't really matter. It's a success. So 1 damage. We don't have to exhaust it, so no point in using it right now. So we'll kill Hunting Horror. It goes back to the Void with still 2 resources. Right. And then we have 3 actions left. Hell yeah. And we gotta draw a card. Get our backstab. Alright. We're down to solo cards. Now watch me draw that card that kills us, right? Alright, so we'll move into here. We have 2 actions left. We're gonna exhaust both the field works to get +4 for this first investigation. So that puts us at 8 to 3. Oh, wow. Hell yeah. And we did move 1 space away, so we get to draw a resource or gain a resource or draw a card. I have 2 cards left. I don't think I want to... Yeah, I think we'll just get a resource. I don't think there's anything in my deck that I really, really need. But we do get a clue. And then we'll use lockpicks as our our last action to investigate at a 10 to 3. All right, easy success. So it goes down almost there. 2 clues. So we're to 4. All right, so that's going to end his turn. End of his turn, we're just going to get a resource, go up to 11. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, cool. All right, Jacqueline, what do we want to do with you? Could stay together. Probably best to stay together, especially considering we have good cards to commit to each other's stuff. Let's move into here. I could actually get a resource and then pump 2 from Arcane Studies to test out a 5 to 3. But I think we're fine. And I think I'd rather just make sure I can maybe play like Hypnotic Gaze or something. Could also, and I don't have enough actions to get other Shriveling into play. Well, let's make sure we have enough to get Hypnotic Gaze out there if we need to. So let's just get 2 resources as our last action and go up to 3. Alright, no enemies, so upkeep phase. We got 4 resources now for Jacqueline. Jacqueline draws Song of the Dead. Monterey goes up to 12 resources and gets Hyper Awareness. That would have been nice way earlier, but that's okay, especially with all these resources. Alright, Mythos phase, 6 out of 7 Doom. Jacqueline draws Slithering Behind You. If Hunting Horror is in play, add 1 Doom to it. If it's not in play, engage it with you. We are going to definitely Ward of Protection that. And we're going to take 1 Horror. That's perfectly fine. Spend a resource to cancel that Revelation effect. Whew, okay, that was good that we saved that. Would have really been nice to have a Hunting Horror. Oh, also I should have drawn for a Dark Future as well. -1. 0. Come on, Elder Sign. +1. -3. No Elder Sign. Alright. And then Monterey Jack gets pushed into the Beyond. Alright, we dodged that killer one. Choose and shuffle a non-story asset you control into your deck and discard the top 3 cards of your deck. If a copy of that asset is discarded, take 2 Horror. That's a little bit annoying. Unfortunately, I cannot avoid that no matter what. I guess we just get rid of a Fieldwork. We know there's only 1 copy in there, but there's only 2 cards in my deck. So, do I have to shuffle beforehand? I don't think so. Because that'll equal me to only have... Okay, so I'm guaranteed to take 2 Horror here. That's pretty funny. We don't really need our Fieldwork now, so let's just get rid of that. There's only 3 cards in my deck, so it doesn't matter what I shuffle. Discard the top 3, and there's our Forewarned. Now, when do we actually reshuffle our deck is the question. So we take 2 Horror. And we'll look up to 4. Or sorry, up to 2 out of 6. I have 4 left. Do we shuffle our deck now or just when we're about to draw? Let me double check. Alright, so I looked and it's only when you're about to draw. So I guess that means if I end up drawing... Well, I guess the end of the phase I'll draw before the Mythos phase, but it's sort of funny. I'm guessing if I draw that card that, if it says if you have no cards in your deck, you just take 10 damage. I'm guessing that would just instantly happen. Yikes. It's a bit scary. Alright. Well, I think we got this. Unless I totally screw something up. Or get the absolute worst luck in the world. Alright, so I guess we'll just have Monterey Jack go. Let's spend 2. Just get our... Actually, we might not need to, I guess. So we'll just use our lockpicks first and investigate at a 10 to 3. It's -2. That's going to be a success. 1 clue left, and then let us. I guess what's easier, just committing cards. Yeah, I think we got a lot of cards to commit. I guess that's just the easiest way to do this. So yeah, let's just investigate normally. We'll have Jacqueline commit Occult Theory. So it gains book symbols equal to your willpower. We have 6. So it's going to get +6. Jesus, that's insane. Alright, so that means it's going to be a 10 to 3 again. That's a -1, but that's going to be a success because in Hunting Horror, even with a -3, would have... Well, we couldn't have investigated if Hunting Horror was there, but that's going to get us our last clue. We get to advance. There's no clues remaining. Yeah, advance. At last, you find the locked case containing the Necronomicon. The tome, over 800 pages in length, is filled with all manners of macabre imagery, formulae, spells, prophecies, and descriptions of creatures from beyond the threshold of space. Without a doubt, it is a very dangerous book, but its secrets could be very useful. Ooh, we gotta choose. Keep it or destroy it? Ooh, that's a tough one. The thing is, I haven't looked at the Necronomicon asset, so I don't know what it does. And I'm going to play it like that. I'm going to play it where I don't know what the card actually does. I'm going to try to not look at asset cards and stuff as much as I can. Now, Henry Armitage... Does Henry Armitage want to destroy it? Or does he just want to take control of it so that other people don't get it? I brought it to my good friend. Didn't feel safe keeping it in the library. Thought it'd be safe... Must retrieve it at all costs. I fear terribly what they could do with the rights contained in its pages. Yeah, I'm just wondering if Armitage and his gang, Armitage, Rice, and Morgan, doesn't sound like they tried to destroy it. I wonder why they didn't try to destroy it is the question. After all that transpired, I didn't feel safe keeping it at the library, so I brought it to my good friend Harold Walstead. Also, where the hell is Harold Walstead? Was that the guy who was... Oh, administration's office. That's, I think, the dead dude. Man, I sort of... What do we think mechanically is going to happen? So if we destroy it, I'm guessing that's going to unleash a bunch of horror. Well, actually, no. If we keep it, we're probably going to end up taking a bunch of horror. Let's destroy it. I'm curious. This playthrough... We're going to destroy it. We're going to see Monterey Jack and Jacqueline Fine. They don't trust it. Hopefully Henry Armitage isn't too upset about that. All right, so resolution 1. As long as this translation of the Necronomicon exists, there will be sorcerers and other foul agents like Whately seeking it. In the end, you know that must be done to protect humanity from the threats you've seen. You find a trash bin and fill it with books and documents, throw the Necronomicon on top. It takes several matches to set the contents alight. The flames fill the room with heat and creeping shadows retreat from its light. You watch the book burn for some time, its pages turn into ash. You can only hope you've made the right decision. Record that the investigators destroyed the Necronomicon. Now, I'm guessing... that is going to become useful later in the campaign. But it looks like we did dodge having to add a token to the deck, interestingly enough. Cool, and that's it. We record that the investigators destroyed the Necronomicon, and we earn experience equal to the victory X value of each card in the victory display. Now, we only get locations in this one. Unfortunately, we didn't actually explore the rest of the exhibit halls, but we cleared 3 out of the 4 rooms we had of clues, so we get 3 experience, which I'm pretty happy with. I'm actually really, really happy with how well that went, considering we ran out of cards in this deck, and Jacqueline was really, really low on cards. We ended up dodging. I'm wondering where this was. Crypt Chill, that would have been bad for us. 2 cards away, we would have drawn Beyond the Veil, which... yeah, it's just, if your deck has no cards in it, take 10 damage and discard Beyond the Veil. And that would have actually drawn for... That actually would have drawn for Monterey Jack. Now, he would have actually been able to shuffle his deck before this was drawn. So, that's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, there's 1 of those. There's only 2? There's actually 3, and they were in the lower half of the deck. We didn't get quite through half of the deck, I don't think, but still. And then the other exhibit halls were... Only 1 of them had experience in it, so we actually almost got max experience. It would have been nice to get the experience off of this exhibit hall, but I think we were right in just sort of trying to get things going, because we were pretty much just facing off against the Hunting Horror, and that thing would have definitely eventually gotten too big for us to deal with. Although Monterey Jack did have a lot of backstabs and sneak attacks in his hand. But the Egyptian exhibit, you lose an action if you fail in here. It's not that bad. And the Athabascan exhibit. Oh, this is the bad one. We actually avoided the really, really bad one. It's no clues on it, but when you enter it, you immediately lose all of your actions and end your turn. So it's just a waste of time. You do get +2 agility, though, when you're in it, funny enough. Which I guess would be just if you want to evade tank the Hunting Horror in there. Because the Hunting Horror, you could just keep evading in there, I guess. Cool. Well, that was episode 3 of our campaign so far. That was the Miskatonic Museum. Thank you so much for watching. That was a really, really good run. I'm really, really happy with that. We got 3 experience. Nothing terrible happened to us. We didn't have to take any trauma or anything like that. So I think we're in good stead. I don't think I missed anything. Because so far in our campaign, we have O'Banion Gang has a bone to pick with us, Francis Morgan and Dr. Warren Rice was kidnapped, experiment was destroyed, and we burned the Necronomicon. So I think we're doing pretty well. Big thanks to everyone who's keeping up with this playthrough. Hopefully you're all enjoying it as well. As usual, might have got some things wrong, might have missed some things. Definitely let me know in the comments below. Definitely subscribe and like if this is your first, for some reason, if this is your first video you're watching. Definitely like and subscribe, and also definitely check out some of my other videos. It does help out the channel a lot, even if I know you're here just for Arkham. Hopefully you can check out some of the other games I'm showcasing, and hopefully maybe you'll fall in love with those ones as well. But until next time, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.